Hey, good day, everybody. I'm making, and I'm in the process of making a sweet potato honey bun cake, and it requires a cup and a half, a cup for the cake and a half cup for the frosting. And I'm gonna have to boil these. I peeled and boiled these I'm going to boil these sweet potatoes, and I will go through the process with you. Be back soon. Okay, folks, we got all the ingredients together. I boiled the sweet potatoes, mashed them, cooled them. I have a cup of sweet potato right here. So this is a sweet potato honey bun cake, and it consists of 1 cup of mashed sweet potatoes, a cup of sugar, a cup of vegetable oil, 4 eggs, large eggs, 2 cups of flour, and in there's a combination of 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half teaspoon of salt, and a cup of chopped pecans, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract that will be added later. So right now I need to combine the sweet potato, the oil, and the sugar into the mixing bowl, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I have the sugar, the sweet potato, and oil in the bowl, and what you want to do is mix it well, get it well blended, and fix it with a wire whisk. And put it on stir. Just keep an eye on it. Make sure it gets well blended. Now, while that's happening, get it to blend well. Get that oil mixture in there, the sugar to absorb it up, and it'll start to thicken. And for time's sake, I'm going to pause it and get back to you with the next step. Okay, now that we have it well blended there, I'm going to add 4 eggs to the mixture, one at a time. Except for I'm going to do it this way. I'm putting them all in at the same time. It will blend. And you see that's coming together. Now I took the time and combined the spices with the flour, and I just used a whisk to evenly distribute it around everything. And so the next step to this recipe, as you see the eggs are now well blended in there, I'm going to take a spoon here and add to the mixture. Now watch. A little at a time. If you dump it all in there at once, that mixture's going to spit it all out the side, and you're going to lose, your flour and your ingredients will be spilling all over the floor. You see how I'm adding it gradually, at 1 spoonful at a time. So I'm going to add all this together, and when it's blended, I'll go on to the next step. You can see how it's coming together. Okay, now you see that it's well blended, and what you want to do if you have a stand mixer, after you get it mixed, you want to take the spatula and go all the way to the bottom, all the way around, and scrape the sides to make sure all the ingredients are together. Now, the next step is to add a couple of chopped nuts. That's the last thing. That, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Yeah, that looks about right. And while I was in the process of doing all this, I preheated my oven to 350. That's mixed enough, and I'm going to put it in a 9 by 13 baking pan. You want to grease and flour a pan. I'll show you that next. Okay, everything's in place. I have an ice frosting knife. I greased and floured a 9 by 13 pan. I took the spatula knife and scraped down the side. You see how I did that? Make sure everything is well blended, and you can see, and spreadable. So I'm gonna pour that into here, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then it goes in the oven at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes, or until toothpick insert comes out clean. Okay, so I have the batter in the pan, and I'm going to carefully spread it out. You don't want to disturb any of the flour as much as possible, so that as it bakes, it will not stick. So as you see, it's all spreaded out. And now I'm going to take it to the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. Okay, now you see I got it placed in the oven. I have it in the middle rack. I have a convection oven. And the difference between a convection oven is that this one has a circulation fan in there. So even though the recipe calls for 30 to 35 minutes, it may be done in 20 minutes. So it varies with each oven. So always keep an eye on it. Like I always say, watch it like a hawk. While the cake's in the oven, now we're going to work on the frosting. And what we have here is 2 cups of confection sugar, a half a cup of mashed sweet potato. Yep, the sweet potato is being used in the frosting. And a 1/4 cup of room temperature butter. So I'm going to add these to the mixer here and blend them together, and I'll show you how it's done. And if I didn't mention the milk, a 3/4 cup of milk to add to get the right consistency of how you want your frosting. So I'm going to fix it with the wire whisk. I'm whisking together the butter and the pumpkin. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a teaspoon of lower it down. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whoa, it's going to be good. And whip it back up. And you want to scrape down the sides if you need to. Make sure it's all mixed in together well. And now I'm going to start adding the powdered sugar, a spoonful at a time. And a little bit of milk. And you just continue to do this until you get the consistency where it's easy to spread. And I'm going to pause it here because I want to make sure I get everything inside this 10 minutes. So the cake's been out of the oven, sitting for 10 minutes, so it's still warm. The frosting, you want to get it to the consistency like this, and that's why you add the milk little by little. For time's sake, I had to skip, showing you how to. So you want to pour your frosting down the middle like that. And you want to take a frosting knife like this and wet it. And just carefully spread it around. Be sure that you cover the entire cake. See, it's more like a glaze than a frosting. So yeah, I spread that out over the entire cake. What you want to do is, once you finish that, you don't want to waste any of that good frosting. And you want that cake to sit until it completely cools, and then you can cut it. Thank you. I hope this will inspire you to bake. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all. Have a blessed day.